classes of the seers of the truth, both impersonalists and personalists. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes are all self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotishmi Vishnu Bhuvanani Vishnu. The word existence and non-existence refer to only to spirit and matter. That is the version of all seers of truth. This is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Removal of ignorance involves the establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of difference between the part and parcel living entities in the Supreme Personality. One can understand the nature of the Supreme by thorough study of oneself. The difference between oneself and the Supreme being understood as the relationship between the part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutras, as well as in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural consequences. The living entity being the superior nature, as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as the supreme, and the energy or nature is accepted as the subordinate. The living entity is therefore always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as in the case of the master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance, and to drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities for all time. Om Jnana Tirandasya Vinamjana Shuru Vithamena Tasman Shuru Vinama Shachitani Vinamisham Stapitam Vinamisham Lada Sopadantika Madhyam Shuru Shuru Shirupam Sadharitam Sadhanatam Tam Tam Sadhu Gopisha Gopika Kantarada Kantanamasti Tapta Kanchan Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanusri Devi Pranam Shati Pasam Bhevich Patitanam Pavni Bhyo Vishnu Bhyo Namo 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 Vishnu Pada Krishna Prashtavata Vishnu Bhakti Vikasa Swami Tanuni Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna Prashtavata Vishnu Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tanuni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachani Nirvise Vishnu Nivadi Pashata Dishitarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Kinere Smoma Hare Anaya Shahari Javansh the Purana Nyananda Mayandi Vandana Shakti Madharam Sakavitana Hare Vivana Upasmahi. Okay, there's a lot to discuss here. There's a lot, and we don't have so much time. But we can understand a few simple things. Specifically being here that often the literature that we're reading here, or the culture of this knowledge, is seen as some sort of belief. This is belief. Like some people would say, well, they believe, the Hindus have a belief in death. They believe in death. That's a Hindu belief, or that's their belief. That's the Krishna conscious belief, there is death. But it's not a belief. Death is real, right? Everybody agree? Anybody not agree? Yeah. Often the quote is, I'm sure as death, right? And death is coming. It is sure for the body. It is sure for us. There's no way around it. You're born into this world, you grow, and you get old, and then you die. But that is a misidentification. Therefore here, those who are seers of the truth. Now, who's a seer of truth? Are the scientists seers of truth? Are they? What does truth mean? How do we define truth? What does truth mean? Somebody can answer. Anybody want to give it a shot? Yes?
Something that's eternal?
That's something, sure, but what is the definition of truth? Anybody? It's a little philosophical. Yeah.
Ever existing?
Sure, but truth means reality, right? Fact, yeah, fact. Reality. If you're an illusion, that means what are you saying? Illusion. If you're seeing false, then you're an illusion. Then you don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. If you don't understand what is truth, then you don't know what to do. Like Hitler's truth is to kill the Jews. Some people have the idea, well, everybody has their truth, right? Right? Everybody has their truth. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes? So then Hitler is completely okay, because his truth is to kill all the Jews. Is that fine? No, it's not fine.
For him it's fine.
No, but for him it's fine.
Yeah, for him.
So what about for the Jews?
No,
It's not fine, right? So there's that truth? No, it's not truth. Why? Because it's contradictory. Truth means that it brings together everything. Everything is understood and complete. You cannot change. Oh, now it's like, oh, truth for him is not truth for me. What's the problem? One is exploited, the other is exploiter. So truth means coming to absolute knowledge. Absolute knowledge. If one doesn't have absolute knowledge, then one is in trouble. Well, there's a lot of echo here. Sorry, I feel like this is like Akashic Records speaking. It's like some clouds, and we're in the sky speaking or something. So the truth means to come to see reality as it is. Without that, how are you going to function? If you, nowadays this is a controversial topic, start identifying as a fish.
Fish?
Yeah, a fish. Some people identify as a fish. When you're clearly, your body is of a human being. Can you go live underwater like a fish? No. But my truth is to be a fish. I'm a fish, that's my truth. What will happen? You look like you're the person who has all answers today.
The fish has oxygen, it can survive.
It can survive underwater. But we cannot. The body is completely different. But if you falsely identify and see that as your reality or my reality is like this, then what's the problem? Then you suffer. You can't live underwater. There was some lady who swam for 48 hours straight. For a fish, is that a problem? No, absolutely not. It's where it lives, that's its habitat, it has no problems. But for that lady who swam for 48 hours, her whole skin was completely peeling, she couldn't walk anymore. You can identify like that, but reality is different to what we identify as. You can, I'm from, well, those who are from India, you drive on the other side of the road, right? Yes? Yes? That's your reality, that's your truth, right? Come to America, drive on that side, well, see what happens. No. We're forced to follow laws, right? We're forced to follow certain things. There's a nature of reality that is there that we cannot change. Truth. So, who is a person who sees truth, and who can conclude the truth? That is a very good question, right? Who can conclude the truth? Who can say what is truth? Scientists, okay, sure. I studied science. I studied physics, quantum mechanics, whatever that's worth. So 5 years ago, when I studied that, Einstein's theory of relativity or whatever was one particular way. Some theory was one particular way. But now they realize actually his theory was not exactly accurate, so everything that I learned in school, more or less, is useless. Everything you probably learned, most of those who are over the age of 40, went to biology class 40 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. What you learned was a simple cell is actually not simple at all. So what you learned was completely wrong. Is that truth? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So who do we accept? Because if you do not get it right, if you don't get it right, then you're kind of in a difficult situation. Just like nowadays, people give you an idea of what is happiness in this world, right? According to the time and circumstance, people say, well, nowadays happiness is this way. When I was 13, if you had a haircut like Justin Bieber, that was your happiness. Maybe most of you from Indian background. Do you know Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know Justin. She knows everything over here. It's amazing. So, Justin Bieber, if you had a haircut like him, then you would get all the girls, right? Maybe. But then a couple of years later, then you gotta cut the sides off and keep a, what do you call that? A mullet? No, not a mullet. It's like, no, I know they have a mullet now, but like you cut the sides and you keep the hair. Not a mohawk. It's not a mohawk anymore. I don't know what it's, a fade. Yeah, he knows. It's a fade. Then you get a fade, then you're really cool. Then you can be happy. Right? Now you get a cool fade, now you can be happy. I shave my hair off, so I don't know what it is now. I can't. That's all I got. So I can only style it one way. That's tight. That's it. And I have to do that. I can't just let it go and let it go in the wind. So the nature of truth means reality. Truth means that it comes to a conclusion. But if that truth is changing, then we question it. Well, that's not truth then. Then where do we find truth? Where do we find what is reality? Because most people, right? Everybody wants to be happy, right? Anybody want to be sad in here? No? Okay, good. That's a good start. So everybody wants to be happy. So in order to be happy, we're required to undergo certain processes. Just like in school, you work very hard with the idea that you'll get a good job, right? You go to university. Why? Because you can get a degree and maybe go get a job that pays more than Walmart does, right? So we have to put in some work in order to get a result. But if that work is in the wrong basis, and a misidentification, then what is the use of that work? It is simply like running on a treadmill thinking you're going somewhere. Does anybody run on a treadmill in here? You used to. That's the nature of the body, as we discussed. So if one wants to go to a particular place, it requires walking, right? You have to walk. So you can take a car, I guess. But if you were to walk somewhere, and you get on a treadmill, will you ever get there? No, you're walking though. But you're not functioning on the level of proper knowledge. Therefore, you will not get there. Similarly, if you start to identify with this body, what's the nature of it? We dress it very well, especially when we're young. We get all these new clothes, new haircut. I don't know what else people get nowadays. That's as far as it went for a teenager for me. But we get this and that done to the body. Well, what's the nature of it? What is it made of? Blood, pus, urine, skin? It's actually quite disgusting, especially something. Maybe it's just me, but when you first wake up in the morning and you look at yourself, you're like, all right, that's me. It's like, okay, I'm happy I'm not the body. So the nature of this body is that it is actually not very useful. We treat it like it is the center of the universe. We treat it, I have to do so much to it. I have to buy, maybe you don't know here, Yeezy's clothes. Maybe some of you know, right? You know who Yeezy is? It's a Kanye West. A white shirt. Oh, somebody's who's wearing white. Okay, you're wearing a shirt. Okay, that's white. I don't know how much you got that for, but if Kanye sold it, that would be $400. Would you pay $400 for that shirt? No, exactly. Neither would I. But identification with that, one tries to decorate the body. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam says that it's like this is a dead body. Actually, it's dead. Without the life in it, it doesn't move. But we try to decorate it so nicely. Okay, so much time is spent in decorating it. So much time is spent in making it look so nice, and we think everybody cares. And you realize actually nobody cares. It's not like you see someone with really nice hair and shoes and dress, and for the rest of your day you're thinking about it. Anybody do that? No, you see it go by and you forget it. Like, that was nice, but whatever. But we're thinking everybody's looking at me. We're so conscious of this body, but we're forgetting the real thing. Therefore, we're not happy. So the Bhagavad Gita starts to give us knowledge on the level of the soul. And why is this knowledge considered truth? Because this knowledge is not coming from the defects of you could say a human intelligence. This is descending knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of us have the tendencies to make mistakes. Anybody ever never made a mistake in their life? Anybody? We have a tendency to cheat ourselves and others. We're illusioned. At night we think something to be a rope, to be a snake, a rope to be a snake, or a snake to be a rope. One way is worse. And what's our last one? What else is the last one? Illusion, make mistakes. We're imperfect senses. If you turn these lights off in this room, you can no longer see. Such a person cannot give proper knowledge. But Krishna, he is perfect. He is Govindam Adi Purusham. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. He is completely perfect. He is the original. He is the Supreme Personality Godhead, full of knowledge. Sachit Ananda Vigraha. So he is giving this knowledge. But this knowledge is not some Hindu knowledge. This is not a Hindu philosophy here. This is an educational society that is teaching you and me how to get out of the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. That is the real suffering of life. Krishna is giving complete knowledge. And those who are the seers of the truth, they've concluded this. All the great sages who have studied this, not just Krishna saying this, but all the great sages who have come to the level of perfection have understood actually this body is simply useless. The only use of it is to utilize it in the performance of self-realization. Actually, that is the point of life. That is the point of Dharma, is to realize oneself. This body is changing every 7 years. All the cells in the body change. You know, where's that young boy that was walking around? There's this little girl here. All of us here used to probably, well, not all the males, but you know, we used to be at that age at one point. Completely different body. Some of us are teenagers now. Some of us are, you know, in our adulthood. Some middle age. Some old. But do you feel old?
No.
No. We feel eternally young. We want to be young, right? Why? Why do you want to be young?
Can talk to the temple.
She's smart. Being old sucks, right?
I can hear Bhagavatam.
She can hear Bhagavatam. Now that's very useful. It's not that good. You can't move that much. One devotee was telling us his joke that, you know, 3 elder gentlemen got together, and one said that I can't pee, and the other said, you know, I can't poo. That's not so bad. I can't poo. And the other one said, you know what? I pee at 7 o'clock and then I poo at 8 o'clock. And the rest of them said, what's the problem with that? He said, I wake up at 9 o'clock. So old age is suffering. Birth is suffering, actually. To be stuck in a womb where all the bugs are biting the living entity in that womb is suffering. So this life, this body comes into existence, goes out of existence, and we become attached to this body, and it causes the living entity a lot of suffering. But we're not that body. We're simply the soul that is observing this. We're not our mind. We're not, you know, Descartes, the philosopher, he says, well, I think, therefore I am. But who's doing the thinking? He forgot that. The greatest philosophers of the West could not come to this conclusion that I am the soul. But that's the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because we're not experimenting here. It is science, but it is perfect knowledge given. Why? Because it is coming from a perfect person who is Krishna. So we are the soul. We are the soul, part and partial of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, as you would have seen. Very beautiful. The divine couple. We are part and partial of Krishna. And we are not Krishna. We are a very minute particle of Krishna. We have the same quality, but not the same in quantity. Krishna is everywhere, we are only localized. You cannot see what I'm thinking in my head. Nobody can see that. Anybody can tell me what I'm thinking? No? Good. Okay, that means you're not Krishna. You're not God. You cannot become God. But you can become a servant of God. That is greater. So this Krishna consciousness movement is teaching us the science by which we can see truth, by which you want happiness in your life. This is right here by study of real truth. Otherwise we're stuck. Otherwise the material society, they change their standard of happiness every couple of years. When you were probably young, you used to watch, what is this? Do you watch movies or you always listen to Bhagavatam?
You used to know.
Used. There's so many heroes like this, like that, so many movies like this, like that, so many different standards of happiness. But now it's completely different. Always changing. That is the nature of material life. Always changing. You'll never get it. Always running away from you. This is the nature of this world. Happiness is only heard about. You only hear about it. So many pictures on Instagram and this and that. And you go and try to do it. It's not that good. It's not that fulfilling. Because it's not our nature. Our nature is to be absorbed in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, specifically through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What does it do? It awakens our true nature. It gives us knowledge, practical knowledge. Just reading is good. You can get knowledge, but you want realization. That is the difference. You can get realization by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simple, right?
Yes.
But very, 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 very powerful. And it is given by Shastra, given by the Supreme Personality of God Himself, in order to elevate us from our dull consciousness. We're living like animals. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, not thinking. But we have to think. That is the purpose of human life. It is for inquisitiveness. It is for asking good questions. Do not be shy to question what is reality, what is illusion. Use this human form of life. Perfect the human form of life. Don't just waste time. So that means coming, associating here, coming, seeing. All of you live pretty close here or no? Yeah. You can come every night. In the morning, there's so nice, this whole morning program, Bhagavatam class. It is available for us to take full opportunity, read the Bhagavad Gita. Who doesn't have a Bhagavad Gita? Who doesn't have a Bhagavad Gita? Who doesn't have this book?
I love mine, it's on my phone.
Yours is on your phone. You gotta have a physical copy.
I have one.
Okay. So those who don't have
I
it,
have
you
my
should.
phone.
Huh?
I always have my phone.
If it dies, then you can't use it. Book never.
Always.
So.
The smaller version.
So one should study this. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. One should study this. It is the point of your life, especially those who have been fortunate enough to be born in the land of Bharat. This is your purpose. Don't just waste time. You have a job, you're working, do this, but make Krishna the center of your life. Come, read Bhagavad Gita, serve the deities, bring flowers, give to the temple. Make Krishna the center. You'll see how your life will change. You'll see. You'll see if in Atlanta, where we're from, we have all young men, all in the age of 20 and young women. All gave up everything. You don't have to give up everything. You have family and all this. This is adharmic. Why? Because the taste of Krishna consciousness. Leave material life. They've left it. All Westerners. All Westerners. Because Krishna consciousness gives us the opportunity to come to the platform of pure happiness, pure bliss, by serving Krishna. So this is the point of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the point and the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is to love Krishna. When Manam Bhavamat Bhakta, always think of Krishna. Make that the center of our lives. And you will not lack anything. You will get everything. Everything out there, they're lacking everything. But putting Krishna in the center, we get everything. So, I'll end the class there. If there's any questions or
you can take maybe one question.
Okay, I can take one question. Anybody have a question? No questions? Yes, Puruji.
Thank you so much for wonderful class. You are awakening us, even who are practicing. You are giving a lot of devotion. Because sometimes we feel lazy. But Just I'm asking question for the benefit for all of us.
Yes, bro.
Like sometimes, like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva Jana, like all the living entities, 8.4 million of the species of life come from Krishna, right?
Yeah.
But very few people are getting liberation.
Yeah.
Who are those who are practicing? The percentage is very few, right?
Yeah.
But so many living entities. Not I subtract all the except human being. So human beings are the highest platform. But most of the human beings, they are breaking the four regulative principle. They are killing animals, killing other living entities, and doing severe things. And so sinful that Krishna never allow. Even other religion, other tradition also they don't, accept. So what will be their destination? And Krishna does not feel pain or bad like the father always feeling, pain to see the children are going. So that actually, I also beholder when I see. I know I am not practicing perfectly 100%. But what is your?
What is the destination for those who do not practice Krishna consciousness? They're controlled by the modes of mature nature. They're forced into another body according to the consciousness they're in. So most people don't practice Krishna consciousness because it requires, like I'm saying, not to be lazy. It requires us to be actually intelligent and consider things with a level-headed position. So people's destination, back into the different species of life. But Krishna is pain. Of course, Krishna is pain. Krishna wants to have that relationship with him more than we want that relationship. Krishna wants it more than we do, but he will not force you. He will not force us to have that relationship because what is love? If I put a gun to your head and told me, you love me now. Yeah, you'll do something mechanically, but love is not mechanical. So Krishna consciousness means a voluntary submission, surrender. Surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. With what? With humility, with complete dependence. Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells us, Daya Atma Nivedana, this comes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and other places. To accept one as if he has one's protector, not any other protector. So it is a high level because it means we have to put away to a level our own personal desire, what we consider to be our personal desire, and fulfill the desire of Krishna. But by fulfilling that, we become completely happy. It requires work. People are not ready to work. We're not ready to work, even as devotees, right? It's hard. It's easy, but it's difficult because our mind gets in the way. Our mind wants to enjoy so many different things, but one should simply engage that mind in hearing about Krishna. That will give enjoyment. I read something nice from Prabhupada yesterday. He said, the only reason anxiety exists is because one looks for pleasure elsewhere. That's the only reason you're in anxiety, because you're thinking pleasure is somewhere else. But pleasure is here. It's all right here in the Hare Krishna mantra, in Prabhupada's books. You can get it all, believe me, and in the kirtan. You have material desire, dance like anything in the kirtan. Read Prabhupada's books, chant Hare Krishna, take nice prasadam, there's no problem. What is the problem? Prabhupada said, what's the difficulty? We're the difficulty. So people can't take it up. We can do our best for them. But we should become serious. We should see how rare it is to come to devotional service. It's so rare. That's one of my things that I do, is we go and we try to teach people about Krishna consciousness. People are not willing to learn. They don't want to learn. But we have to give them what we can, give them the mantra. Distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, Atlanta, in the Krishna Life Center. And we're now the biggest book distribution team in the world. Yesterday they distributed 1,600 books, but our record is 10,000 books in a day.
You are one of the team members?
Yeah. So we distribute lots of books. But still, people are lazy to read them. But we have to awaken the intelligence by us studying and giving them, hey, look, we're not just a Hindu society. This is not a Hindu thing. This is knowledge. This is like going to a university and education. This is education. Don't think you come. People shouldn't think they're coming here and, oh, it's just some worship. These people are just sentimental people. No, we can smash people's philosophy because this is perfect. Prabhupada would say, like in the introduction of the Bhagavatam, by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, one can defeat any atheist and any other philosophy because this establishes the absolute truth. So by studying this, we ourselves come up and we can help others come up. The best thing you can do for everyone, those who are struggling in the material existence, is chant the holy name on the streets for them. For ourselves and for them. We benefit ourselves and everyone else. So the destination is unknown.